Okay, hey girl.
Hi, Clarissa. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm awesome. It's been forever since we last chatted, so I'm excited to be speaking with you today and just like seeing your face.
Yes, and to all our loyal listeners, this is the first time well, not the first time you'll see our faces, but the first time that you'll be seeing our faces alongside with our voice and on this episode, because we have historically only done audio and now we're doing audio and video. Yay!
That's exciting, something new for us. It just made me think that, sometimes you start things and they're not perfect. Like we don't have the perfect studio. We do this on a Zoom call, but you adjust as you do more. Like as you do more, you figure out like what stuff isn't working, what things are working, how do you adjust, how do you make it better, and eventually you just improve over time. And before you know it, we might just have a studio. Who knows? But you just got to get started.
Yeah, we don't have a studio right now, guys. We're making it work in our little apartments.
Yeah.
But as Mariana always says, do better.
Do better.
And we
Yes.
are. And incorporating video into this episode has also come to us. This revelation came to us through suggestions and recommendations from our listeners. So thanks,
Yep.
guys.
Like I said, we listen to you guys. We like feedback because feedback helps us improve.
Period. All right, so since we haven't spoken to each other in a while, this session or this episode is kind of going to be like a catch up, a debrief on what we've missed the last few weeks, and then we'll wrap it up at the end of the episode with a word of the day. And now you guys can finally see the book I use. So,
Yes.
not sponsored. If you want to sponsor us.
Wait, what's the name of the book?
Merriam-Webster.
Miriam, hit us up, girl.
It's a girl,
Oh, I don't know.
whoever it is. And if the Merriam-Webster company that makes the
Yes.
dictionary, that makes the vocabulary builder, I read this all the time, and it helps me develop my vocabulary, and it helps our listeners develop their vocabulary.
Yes. So, Miriam upstairs. Our
Shout out to
lines are
Miriam.
open.
Yeah, we can talk later.
Cool. So, girl, what have you been up to in the last, 3 weeks almost? 4 weeks?
Yeah, I think so.
In a while.
Yeah. I have been very busy with my fitness activity. I've been
Yes.
trying a lot of different things. Um, so I guess I'll begin with another shout out to our friend Liz, the owner of Liz Lottie's. She
Woo.
hosted woo, she hosted a twerk Lottie's class a few weeks ago, and I attended. Um, Okay, a little background. This is not the first time she's held a Twerk Lottie's event, and I think this is probably like the third time she's hosted one. And I was always intrigued, but I never attended because I was like, I don't like I have a confession, I didn't know how to twerk. And I was like, I'm not gonna, I don't even, I don't know, I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to embarrass myself. But I finally went because I was like, you know what? Why not? I was in a silly, goofy mood. And so I was like, let's go. And a couple other friends went as well. So it was kind of fun. And I didn't realize how much fun it is to twerk or even just to like move your hips, move your bottom,
Mm-hmm.
move your butt around. Like that is so I don't know, it's like liberating. You know how they say that when you like stretch your hips out, that sometimes like you release a lot of trauma, a lot of emotion. I
Mm-hmm.
and so I wonder if that's related to, like this type of movement too. And so the class was really cool because we did like the first session was traditional Pilates. And then after that, we did a little bit of stretching, um, some twerk movements, kind of, I guess you could say. And then we fully progressed to like a twerk. And it was a lot of fun. The instructor, she she was really cool. So the studio that we went to, they also do like pole dancing and things like that. And so she talked about how, in her words, she said it's therapeutic to shake ass. And so I really loved that. And I think I'll attend again now that I'm not a beginner. And I had it in me all along because it didn't take much for me to like get into the rhythm of it. And I was like, wait, I don't know why I thought I couldn't because I can't. And it was so much fun. Have you ever done a twerk class?
No, I have not. But Arturo tried showing me how to twerk a couple of times in the past. And sometimes I feel like I got it down, but then other times I feel like my mind, the mind muscle connection is just not there when I try to shake ass. But I'm with you and with the instructor on the fact that, when we shake ass, it releases a lot of emotions, right? That's why there's times where I'm like, damn, like I've been feeling kind of sad over the last month. Like, what haven't I, what's different? Like, what haven't I done? What's missing in my life? And then you realize I just haven't gone out and shake ass. Like, I haven't gone out. Like, I haven't danced, like,
Hmm.
actually danced with purpose, like with energy in a while. And
Hmm.
I think that's what it is. So I would love to try a Pilates class one of these days. I wonder if she's having any while I'm there.
Ooh, we should talk to her. I'm actually gonna see her today. We're gonna do a workout class together. So I'll talk she actually told me, she's like, I haven't sent you the videos from the twerk Lotties. She's like, so I'll airdrop them to you today. I was like, perfect.
I
I
would
need to
love to
see.
see that.
Oh,
We should include the videos into this podcast video, like as a little clip, if you're comfy,
well, let me
because I
see.
also
Let me
know.
see. Let me see how they look.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be opposed as long as they're, appropriate and they show me in a good light. But not that there's anything wrong with shaking ass, but also, like I have a reputation and I have a professional job that I have to maintain. But anyway, yeah, I was gonna say, oh yes, that goes what you mentioned about, like kind of being like in a slump and like you're like, what's wrong? And then you try to think back, what haven't I done? You're like, oh, I haven't gone dancing. I think it's just like movement. Movement is like
Hmm.
the key because you could have like, I mean, yeah, you can go dancing, but you could also go to like a yoga class and you feel so much better afterwards. Um, I think that sometimes people think about movement as um, like a chore, like, oh, I have to go work out. But like when you think about it as like a part of your life that you need in order to like be healthy, like not just be healthy of like not like fitness, but I mean like for your mental health, then it just becomes like easier to just keep incorporating it into your life because it's like, yeah, you need that. Like you wouldn't not eat, right? You wouldn't not drink water. So you have to work out so that you don't go a little crazy.
What was there anything that surprised you about twerking and the movement and that it requires, like the methodology behind twerking?
I think what was and you mentioned this, that sometimes you get too much in your head about it. I think that's the thing is like we're trying to be like too, I don't know, strategic. Like you're like,
Hmm.
okay, let me like how do I do this? And you kind of just have to let your body move naturally because you already know how.
Hmm.
Like your body knows how. It just hasn't probably explored that specific movement before. And I think like all the mirrors around there really helped. And that's the one thing in the beginning I was like having a hard time doing the movement that that the teacher was teaching us, and I was like, I can't. And then I saw everybody else, they were just like being very loose and silly. And I think that's why I also enjoyed it because it was like a safe space. And I didn't feel like people were judging me. And I was like, whatever,
Hmm.
if I look silly, I look silly. And then I just started to move and I was like, wait. I got it. And then everyone like hypes you up.
Hmm.
And we did this really cool thing where we put like this little belt, and on the back of the belt, like above your like butt, the belt has two little googly eyes. And so when you twerk, the eyes go up and down. And so we had a little contest where like one person would have to run across and like and see their and we would have to watch their eyes go up and down and the other person kind of like a relay, and then you would switch the belt to give it to the next person. It was so much fun. But yeah, I think the environment helped, just that like, everyone was really welcoming and not judgmental, and that's how I was able to just not think about it and like move freely. And that's all it took, because I didn't really have to think about it too much.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds so exciting. Fun.
Yeah, it really was. And I like almost wasn't gonna go, and then I'm like, wait, I'm glad I did.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I'm also doing a jump rope challenge. So every day for 21 days, so it's almost over because this is the 12th. Um, I'm jump roping. So one of my friends like sent out like a list of like an amount of jumps to do per day, and then you follow it. It's kind of like, do you remember like jump rope for heart or something, or whatever it was in school,
Hmm.
or something like that. It was like a challenge where you had to jump rope. This one, there's like no like charity involved, but it's just for fun, just like for fitness. And I obviously I know how to jump rope, but I hadn't jumped rope in a very long time. And it's so much fun too. It's just jumping, but it's so much fun. And it's a really, really hard exercise. Like yesterday I did 1,300 jumps, and
Oh, wow.
I know my calves are always sore because we jump every day. But I'm gonna have, that little like picture of SpongeBob's legs when he's like flexing.
Hmm.
That's gonna be my legs, I hope.
How do you keep track of how many jumps you make on any given session? Do you have like an app for that, or you're just counting in your head?
So at first I just had like a regular jump rope and I was counting, because at first it was just like a couple, like 300, 400, but now we're getting to the big numbers. And
Hmm.
they sell on, like, I got on Amazon like a little jump rope that has on the handle, it has a tracker, and it
Oh.
counts for you. Yeah, it counts for you. And so you don't even have to keep track, and that makes it easier, because when you're actually counting, it's like you're like, oh, great, I have 200 more.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, it's a lot easier when it just counts it for you. Um, and what else? Oh, have you ever heard of berries? Like the
Yes.
yes. Mhm.
Hmm.
I took a class last week. It was wonderful. So it's like hit, and on one side um it's treadmills, and then the other side it's weights. And the my favorite part is that when you're running on the treadmill, the mirror is right in front of you, and you can see yourself running. And so you run very quickly, right? Like there's like intervals of sprinting. And when you feel like giving up, you just look at yourself in the mirror and you lock in.
Oh my
You're like,
God.
yeah, that's what, because like, have you ever ran in front of a mirror? No, right? I haven't.
No.
Because when
Mm-mm.
I go to the gym, the mirrors, or sorry, the treadmills are never in front of the mirrors.
Mm-mm.
And so I was like, whoa, this is really cool. You can like see yourself running, and you're like, don't stop. Because then the teacher's like, 30 more seconds. You're like, I can do 30 more seconds. But if you didn't have that, and if you didn't see yourself, you would have given up. It's kind of like when people say to do like the affirmations in the mirror to look at
Hmm.
yourself. That's what it reminded me of, because I was like, no, I can do it because I'm looking at myself. So, yeah, that's been
I
my like escapades for fitness.
I love that. Is there like any one in particular kind of workout that you're going to stick to long term? Are you going to keep like rotating? Are you looking to try some other stuff?
I think I'll continue to like alternate and try different things, but
Yeah.
the ones that I'll probably stick with the most are Pilates and yoga.
Mm-hmm.
I just like those the most. I like to incorporate those into like weekly my weekly routine. It's like I do like running and then lifting and then like I'll alternate like 1 week yoga, 1 week Pilates and something like that. But I still like to try like new workouts. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it just keeps things fun because then otherwise it does feel kind of mundane, like a routine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. At some point it starts getting a little bit like boring, or you just want to try something new. The novelty wears out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. Well, sticking to the theme of fitness, my gym that I used to go to closed because apparently like something within the building that they exist in, like the landlord has to do some fixing of it. They're closed until further notice. And I was like, I can't go like without a gym. And they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, no worries, like you can try any of our other locations. And I was like, well, this is like the closest location to me. Like, there's no way I'm gonna go to Manhattan just to work out when I needed to be like within a 15-minute radius from my place. So I ended up switching gyms, and I'm so glad I did because now I go to Crunch Fitness, and it's great because they have classes for yoga, like weightlifting classes as well, just like a variety of classes. And I found that's just like more engaging.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to have the option to maybe do your own individual workout and then pop into a class. And so I I've been trying a couple of classes. Like today I have abs, thighs, and legs. And it's basically like a hit class, but really focusing on the lower body. Last time I went to one of those was 2 Sundays ago, and oh my god, I was dying. Like when we got to the very end of the workout, we finished it up with, I think I stuck around for like another class after that one. So it was like an ab focused workout. And so you're laying down on the ground. Girl, when I tell you, I had to just like keep myself from like passing out. I was like, do not pass out, do not
Oh my
pass out.
God.
And I think what did it for me was the fact that it was a morning workout class. So I don't want to work on a full stomach. And I was like, but I need a little bit of energy. So right before I went into my class, I stopped by a little coffee shop, had coffee. And you know how coffee can be a little dangerous because you're feeling like the what is it, like the gastric acid just like
Mm-hmm.
forming, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
lying down, you're shaky. Um so needless to say, I'm looking forward to hopefully not dying today. But
Do they offer yoga at that one?
they do offer yoga sessions during the weekdays. They're I think it's like Wednesdays and Mondays and Wednesdays where they'll have the instructors rotate. But the last yoga class I went to, it was this one guy. He was really engaging. And then towards the end of class, he was like, "Oh, I didn't want to call out on you because this is your first time taking the class, and you were so brave for like sitting right in front of the instructor, and just like trying your best. I didn't want to call you out, like if, and I don't know if you want me to like correct you as you're doing your poses." I was like, "Yeah, correct me. I don't care. Like you're not. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna feel called out. Like
You're
I'd
like,
rather you correct."
correct me.
He's like, oh, I just don't know how people, especially when they're new to yoga or they're new to my class. I don't know if this is like their first time taking yoga in general, and I don't want to turn them away from it. So I just didn't want to call you out. I was like, no, I don't mind. I don't mind. But I haven't found my rhythm yet. Like I haven't found my rhythm into like what kind of classes I want to continue taking. When do I want to take them? Yeah, I'm just kind of been like in a workout rut, if that makes sense. Like it's not consistent. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to try things, but I'm having a hard time staying consistent.
So that's what I've been up to the last 3 weeks, just for trying to find that consistency in working out.
I think that that's like that happens to everybody. You have to find what you like, or like, or not what you like, I guess. Like how it works for you,
Mm-hmm.
and like what teachers you like. Like maybe there's another teacher at that gym that you like better. Not that that teacher was problematic. But sometimes sometimes that just happens. Like I tell Liz all the time, I'm like, yeah, I go to other Pilates classes. Like sometimes like when she left us and when she went to New York, and I was like, it's just not the same. Like I do it because, like I want to do a Pilates class, but it's not the same. I really enjoy her teaching style and the way she,
Yes.
yeah. And that's the same once you go to like that's how I felt with yoga. Like I started to go to a studio consistently and I took different teachers and I learned which ones I liked and which ones I didn't. And that's when I started to go consistently to the same class because then I developed like that preference. But
Mm-hmm.
and it takes a while to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to say that the other like a few like weeks ago, Mariana texted me that I inspired her to
Oh
go
yeah,
to
she
yoga.
did.
And I was like,
That was the class, girl.
okay. Because I feel like I'm always talking about it. Like with my friends that I'm doing, so they're my coworkers, the ones that I'm doing the
Mm-hmm.
jump rope challenge with. And one of them in the group chat was like, "Oh, I stretched yesterday and I feel so much better." And I was like, "Stretching is wonderful, guys. Everyone should be stretching." And then this other girl was like, "Oh my God, don't get the yoga girl started." And I was like, hey, like if you tried it, you would feel so much better. And then that's when you texted me, and I was like, oh, see, like someone agrees with me.
Yes, I told Clarissa that like her commitment to yoga inspired me to try yoga and like, try to be consistent with it because I've noticed that I don't know if it's age or what, or I just haven't been stretching appropriately before my workouts. I have a hard like I have a hard time with like my my thighs. Like they feel very stiff. Like my bones just feel very stiff. And I'm pretty sure it's like age, so that means that I do need to incorporate some kind of like stretch workout, like yoga, Pilates, a little more into my, weekly workout routine.
Yeah.
So it's so important. Like you're more prone to injuries the older you get, and without stretching. So anyway, I'll just say Gladys is a great influence
Oh,
all around.
thank you. Yeah, everyone should be stretching more, even if it's just a little bit at home.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What about you mentioned that you were reading a lot? You've been reading
Yes, I've been in my reading bag. That's also why I haven't been consistent with like working out because I get
Oh, I
into
love
these like
that.
hyperfixations where I'm just like, yeah, either I'm working out a lot and that's what I look forward to doing, or I pick up a book and I'm just like, but I need to know what happens. Like I need to know what happens. Like I get home from work and I'm just like, okay, like I'm gonna eat, but then I need to get back into my book and then I'll be reading until, till it's really late at night and then I'm sleeping really late. But yes, I have it in my reading bag. Have a bunch of books, just collecting dust. And I told myself, like, no more books from the library, from bookshops until you finish reading the ones that you already have. And so I've been making my rounds through my the books that I already have, and I started off with this book called "A Little Life" by Hania something. But it's a thick book, and it was raved about on TikTok, on social media. How it's a book that really breaks you, that makes you cry, it's super sad. I
Oh, I think I've
yes,
I've heard that one. What is it called? Little Life? A Little
A
Life?
Little Life.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that one on TikTok.
Yeah. Okay. So just, brace yourself. Like it's a good book about like friendship. I just don't know that it needed to be that fucking sad.
It,
Like what was the reason?
what raspberries? Like Cardi.
Yeah.
You're like, I understand the sentiment, but like you didn't have to tear me apart like that.
Right? Like at some point it felt very extra because a lot of like the sadness comes from one of the characters' trauma through life.
Mm.
And um Perla was actually here last one of my friends from Chicago from back home. She was here last weekend. Um and so we met up for brunch and I remember that she had picked up that same book like a year or so ago. And then I was like, oh my God, like I finally started reading it. And so I was just like texting her about it because I know she'd already read it. And when I got to like the third traumatic part of this person's like, of this character's like life, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I think this author is just a masochist. Like, does somebody really need to go through that much shit in their life? Like, are you I mean, I'm sure people do, right? But
Yeah,
like
that's what I was gonna
for the
ask.
purposes,
Go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. For like the purposes of writing a book,
Hmm.
do you need to trauma vomit all these things onto one character? Like how much have they should they have to endure, you know?
Like
So
enough
it was
is enough.
enough is enough. Like at some point, I think they got to like maybe like the fourth, like the third traumatic thing that happened to this person in their, as they were growing up, that I'm like, wait a minute, like, huh?
Mhm.
Like this happened too? Like that's a lot. Like, I don't want to, give out any spoiler
Spoilers.
alerts in case anybody is interested in reading it. It's a beautiful book about friendship. Like I will uphold that for sure. I don't know that the character needed to go through all that trauma. I don't think that there needed to be that much trauma in one book for one character to get the point across.
Hmm.
Um do I recommend it? Yeah, I recommend it if you're somebody who so like for me, for example, I'm not a very emotional girl, but I find that like I do like to I feel it feels very cathartic to cry through books. I love that. So yes, hurt me all you want in a book. I can do that. I just question like how much did this character really need to go through like to get the point across, especially in a fiction book, you know?
Hmm. Do you think that the all that all that trauma that that character went through, that it was not realistic? Like, do you think that could happen to somebody in real life? I know that you said it's a bit much, but like maybe there are people that like they can never
Yeah.
catch a break.
Yeah, for sure, especially when they start to experience those things in childhood, right? Because that's what they know, it's what they learn. And so, maybe because it's what they know or they not that they put themselves in those positions, but they're vulnerable to be in those positions. It can happen consecutively until maybe they get to a point where they realize where they have a little more control over what happens to them over their life, right? That they can
Mhm.
kind of like change a bit. Like not that they change themselves, just like their life might take a different turn and away from all those things that continue that perpetually
Mhm.
hurt them. And I'm sure there's people that do go through that. Like I don't put it past the author that I'm sure she knows people that go through so much hardship, in one life before they're even 16. Um, so I guess maybe I'm just being a dick and not being empathetic. But like,
No.
for purposes of writing a fiction book, I just question like why. Like I think we got
Yeah.
the point.
Okay, because I know you said that you're not a very emotional person, but I feel like I'm very empathetic. And if I were reading that book, I think I would have been like, girl, like at this point, like I'm absorbing all this trauma too, and I'm going through it. And like, I just wanted a little entertainment. Now I'm like distraught. And I haven't even read it,
Yeah.
but now I want to read it, even though you say it's a little overwhelming. But yeah, I guess some people just really do go through it like that.
Yeah. I was hearing another podcast how reading fiction is important. I know that these days, like, self-help books tend to be a little bit more popular, but fiction is still very important because because you're put in a position where you have to be empathetic. You have to kind of it forces you to understand like all the characters' POVs, why their motivations, and it exposes you to like different situations that even if you're not in them, if you're just reading about them, your brain can't differentiate between like what's real and what isn't, what like what's yours and what is like somebody else's. And that really improves it makes you be a little bit more of an empathetic person.
Mm-hmm.
It develops that like empathy in you. Um, so yeah, if you want to get destroyed a thousand in some ways, read it. But in
Yeah.
general, I love reading fiction. There was a point at a point where I was starting to get into self-help books, a lot of Brene Brown. But mainly I was just like hearing her interviews. I wasn't really reading her books. But
Mhm.
I realized that I just can't do the self-help books. I just can't. Like the stories are not interesting to me. Whereas with fiction, I could eat that up. Like
Mhm.
as soon as I finish reading that book, my next book on the shelf is called Americana. And I just started reading it. So far, it's really entertaining. It's a little juicy. Not in the way that you think, just like, this woman, she's from Nigeria. She's come to the US to study and, she left behind her friends and a little lover,
Mm.
who's now, has his own life, is married, he's got his family. And she's decided to come back to Nigeria and, see what life's about now that she's grown. So she sends him an email saying, I'm coming back to Nigeria.
I'm
I'm moving
coming
back.
home, baby.
I'm
And he's
moving
like,
back.
all
And so
right.
and so he's just like, like just thinking about this email, like what do I say to her? Like, how do I want to keep in touch? Like, I mean, and it shows clearly that this was a special woman in his life. So I'm excited to see where that goes. It's a little lighter, that's for sure, but
Mhm.
still nonetheless good.
That one sounds juicy. I
Hmm.
don't really read fiction. I mean, I have before, but like lately, I feel like when I do read, it's mostly like history, books
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
yeah, like history, like or like like current events or like the economy and things like that. Um, but the reason why I like that genre is because like after I put the book down, like I can go Google stuff and like research about it. And I
Hmm.
feel, and then like it relates to like what's happening right now in like the current day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all the problems of the world make so much sense like after you read about history. And that's why I've been into that. But yeah, like that one about the Nigerian lover, that one sounds good. I want to know what
Yeah, me too. I actually found that book. You know how well, I take a lot of walks around my neighborhood and like, neighboring neighborhoods. And there's a bunch of little houses, like little tiny little bird houses that people you could just like donate books. And
the
I was
free
walking
library.
past the free library, yes. And I walked past one of them and I read the title. I'm like, Americana, like where have I heard that? Like I know it's like raved about. So I just picked it out. And a year later, I'm now reading it.
That's okay. I have so many books too that I buy and then I'm like, or no, you know what my problem is that I start a bunch of books and then I leave them like halfway.
Oh. Hmm.
And then I'm like, oh right, let me get back to it. So my like nightstand is a bunch of books. I just have like a bookmark in the middle because I get distracted.
Yeah.
Or like I'm in the middle of one and then I see another one and I buy that one. And I'm like,
Hmm.
and then I put the other one down and I'm like, I'll get back to it and then I never do.
What you mentioned you were reading history. Like you like reading history books about history,
I
things like
think
that.
now I do.
Now you do.
I'm reading and there's this book called Inventing Latinos. And I
Hmm.
forgot the author's name, but she talks about like just like the construct of race in the United States and how like the treatment of Latinos or immigrants in general in this country and how like that contributes to Just a bunch of factors that like kind of you you wouldn't notice if you really go
Mhm.
back into history and read about like what happened back then, and you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Um, that one, and then I was also reading The People's History of the United or A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. But that one's a very, very thick book. Like it looks like a Bible. Because it's supposed to be like a very like thorough history of the US.
Okay.
So that one is like one that like I pick up here and there. But what else? Oh, for Black History Month, I was reading Race Matters. That one I did finish. What is his name? Oh my goodness.
Cornell
Cornell.
West.
Yes, Cornell West, Race Matters. That one's really good. That one talks about well, race in general, but it focuses more on like being Black in this country. Um, yeah, those are the ones that I've been reading, and I feel like I like them because then I like you can do further research about like, that man Cornell West. He has like a bunch of videos on YouTube for like speeches that he does, and so it's just like I like watching that stuff because it's related to the books. But I need to tap into a little fiction so I can just have something light and trivial to just be like, ooh, her Nigerian bae.
Yeah. Oh man, I feel like I need to do the opposite and then actually like read more fiction, like nonfiction, more like what is it like books based on empirical research about like current events and society and whatnot. So I do feel very distant from it all. I don't feel like I'm very well informed, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's just sometimes I think that I read it too much, then I'm like people are sick of me. Because people don't like to, people, and I respect it. Like you can't talk about politics with everybody, but sometimes there are little things where I'm like, and you know what the problem is? And I don't want to get into it though because I know people don't appreciate that. But like
Mhm.
when you read a bunch of books like that, that's how your mind just gets wired that way. So that's the only like disadvantage I would say that like everything makes sense to you, but you have to kind of bite your tongue because if you say something, you're gonna ruin the mood. Like my dad, like when I go to visit, he's like, please no, don't talk about like if I'm like, did you hear about this and this in the news? He's like, nope, don't even talk about it. Like, it's like one of the rules. Like he's like, you can't even um talk about it because that just like gets then my brother chimes in, then he chimes in, and just like the conversation goes nowhere. Not that we disagree, but we all have like our own opinions, and it's just like
And everyone's right.
right. I'm like I grew up in a household where like we're each like no one wants to like compromise with the other. Where it's like no, I'm right. And in terms of like politics, like we always like have like our own belief, and then we think that that's just the way it is. But I learned to just, you know, I learned to agree to disagree.
hmm Oh, I know that one of the things that one of the things I really wanted to chat about today was a couple of talking about, content that we consume and entertainment that we consume. We both saw the Michael Jackson movie. Should we jump into that?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. So speaking of entertainment and media that we are consuming lately, we both saw the Michael Jackson movie, and that's something I wanted to talk about in this episode.
Yeah.
So I will leave it up to Clarissa to open that up.
Yeah, so I watched the movie. It was wonderful. I was always like a fan of Mike. I mean, who wasn't a Michael Jackson fan? But my
Mhm.
mom grew up during that time here in Chicago, like in the 80s and 90s when like, she like grew up with that. Like she was coming of age during that whole process. So that music was like very important to her. And so growing up, she would play it all the time and we would kind of be like, oh, whatever, it's Michael Jackson. But that becomes part of like your childhood during a moment where you're very impressionable, so we've always like loved him, and we always knew, like, I don't want to spoil too much, but obviously like there was always talk about how his dad was kind of abusive,
Mm,
and I knew that. but in the movie, I was like, oh man, like he was. I'm glad that in the movie they don't incorporate too much of like the actual physical abuse, but
Mm-hmm.
even the verbal abuse was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh. And I could see how, like, I think the movie did a good job at showing how bad that was and how that led to, um, how that could have caused certain things in Michael's life.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, like you don't know what someone's going through. Like you saw like all the fame and, all the money, all the success, but like he wasn't, I guess I should say like he wasn't super happy because he always had like his dad like bringing him down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like one of the things that I saw is because I was not familiar with Michael Jackson until I don't know, like I started hearing about him in the media, right? I didn't I didn't grow up with him. Like I was born in Mexico and then I moved here at 7, and then even then my parents weren't that's not the music they were listening to, but they knew Michael Jackson. I think the whole world knew him. Um, but I didn't become acquainted with Michael Jackson until I started hearing things about him in the media, right? Like the whole child abuse scandals, rumors that were, being told about him. Um, because he often had children in Neverland, right? Like he would hang out with children or he was always around children. And yes, that could be very off-putting, like this grown
Hmm.
man hanging out with children. But then when you look back at the movie, like what it showed is essentially he didn't have a childhood. Like he was
Hmm.
working from as little as 5 years old, trying to perfect his craft because of his dad and how abusive and how strict he was, that's all he could do. Like he couldn't even go outside and have a normal childhood. So like
Hmm.
in a way, that's a part of him that never developed, and maybe that's a part of him that he's always aching for, and why he was always seeing around children.
Hmm. I
um
agree.
mhm. And so I don't know, like it makes me very sad, right? Like that he could never live long enough to come out and clear his name.
I know. You know that scene where like he wants to play Twister and
Yeah.
no one wants to play with him? My
Yeah.
sister, well, because I watched the movie with my sister, she's like, I would have played with him. And I was like, oh, I know. That scene was like heartbreaking because like you think, why does he's I think an adolescent at this point. Why does he want to play Twister? That's something that like a young child would want to do. And then like all his brothers like deny him. They're like, no. And I get it that he's probably the one that suffered the most, the one that was deprived the most of a childhood because he was the youngest.
Yeah.
Well, I think Janet Jackson is younger than him, but like out of the boys, like he was the one that was the youngest and started working very early. So like he
Mm-hmm.
didn't, yeah, like at 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what it kind of reminds me of? Although it wasn't so bad, at least that's not how it looked in the movie. But with Selena, do you
Is
remember
that
the
yeah?
movie? Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a similar scene where the kids want to go out and play like in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, we have to rehearse. And he keeps them in the living room and they're playing and playing. He doesn't like hit them or anything, but like still that the kids want to go out and play. Like play,
Mm-hmm.
like jump rope and play with the ball and write out like with chalk on the floor on the ground, like and you want to keep them in here. And it was kind of a form of exploitation because that money that they were making, I'm sure like the whole family was living
Benefiting.
off it, yeah, benefiting, but like ultimately it was the parents, like they're the ones that like saw the potential because a kid is not going to do that. It's like it's just like such a fine line between like is it fun for them and then they just happen to make money or like you're pushing them and you're forcing them and exploiting them to do all of this so that you can make money out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where I was like, oh man, like, and obviously he was an artist naturally, right? Because he created all this great, like once he became a solo artist, he did make all this wonderful music on his own. But that's when he was, I guess, a little happier because he was free from like the control from his father's control.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you mentioned Selena Quintanilla and like so her dad, right? Like how he was also very much a control freak. Like there are people who like control, right? Like they want to
Mm-hmm.
control their children's careers. They want to ensure that talent is successful. And again, there's an earlier movie of the Jackson family. I think it was filmed in the 90s, and Angela Bassett is like plays the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that movie?
I haven't seen it completely.
Okay, so that one goes into a little bit more. It really dives into the lives of Joseph, so his dad, before, becoming a dad. Like it really, and it shows that he
Mm.
was a failed artist. Like he was part of a band
Oh.
and it never took off.
Mm.
And so it's like, these parents that they want to live
It's
their
just like
life, do
Selena's
their
dad.
dreams. Exactly. And that's exactly where I was going, is that they have this idea, these dreams that they had for themselves. They didn't accomplish them because maybe they lacked talent, or they didn't have the thing, right? Like the thing, the star power.
Yeah.
And they see it in their children, and like I'm sure Selena's that saw it in her. And these are children that are so angelic. They have like a light about them. They have the talent, and they exploit it, and they're jealous, and they exert this control to keep them small under their wing so that they never really leave them, because that's where their money's gonna come from.
Yeah.
And so, it's really fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so wrong.
Well, did you hear about, because I don't know if you noticed that Janet Jackson wasn't, like, there was no Janet character in the movie. And
Yep.
that's because she chose not to. She's like, I don't want any part in this. And I saw an interview, like, after I watched the movie, I saw an interview where someone asked LaToya, they were like, oh, like, what do you think about Janet not wanting to be in the movie? And she's like, well, we asked her, we wanted everyone to be included, but she said she didn't want to, and we respect that. And so they didn't even get into it. Then of course I go to the comments and people are like, um, that she was the one that was closest to Michael in age.
Mhm.
And so they probably had a closer bond, a closer connection. And she was like, these are all assumptions, right? People are saying maybe she didn't want to contribute to like um this like tactic to make money by using his name. Like she's like,
Yeah.
what is the point of this? You're just like still exploiting his name.
Yeah.
Like after now that he's gone, you're still making money off him.
Hmm.
And so I wonder if that, I don't know. I could see that being a reason. Um, but yeah, I that was kind of like such a sad part of the movie. But the music and like the music, the performances, oh my
Oh
goodness.
my God. They're mind-blowing. I felt like I was in the concert.
And that
I
was
love this for the
Jafar.
crowd.
So could you imagine
Yeah.
how like amazing it must have been when it was actually Michael?
Girl, yeah. And yeah, the girls fainting.
I
I was talking to my brother and I was like, I don't think that I would see any other artists, or I don't think that I see anybody else fainting, and artists, sorry, I'll say this. Like he had people fainting, right? Like he had like that's just what he provided. Like people were obsessed with him.
he provoked that.
He provoked that. I just don't like today's artists, like I don't see one that would cause the same kind of effect on their fans
No.
at all.
I don't feel that way at all. I can't pinpoint a particular artist right now where I'm like, um,
Fangirling, almost fainting.
no,
No.
no. Yeah, he was so good. He was such a well-rounded performer because he was a singer, he was like a producer, and he was a
Mhm.
dancer. Like he really put on a show. Like he did
Yeah.
everything. And he had a lot, even like the fashion. Um, I saw an interview where Jafar was being interviewed, and he said that in the music video for Smooth Criminal,
Mm-hmm.
when they were filming, that apparently Michael wanted to like do like a certain move, and like when he like I guess he was gonna like flip or like kind of like whip his hair or something, I don't know. And when he flipped forward, he wanted his tie to kind of move with him, but the tie wasn't moving. So they like had to sew in a quarter into the tie so that it had some kind of weight to it, and then it would kind of whip around and like cause that effect that he wanted, that like little dramatic like ooh the tie's flipping around. And I was like, that's how thoughtful he was about it. He was like the tie
Mhm.
is gonna make a statement, which like he's incorporating the fashion into the art.
Yeah, he was so intentional. He's so like he was a perfectionist,
Mm-hmm.
like for his craft. Um, and even like in the movie, right? Like when he's doing the little dance with the what's the song? Beat It?
Mm-hmm. Oh, when he's teaching them how to do the dance. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's so exact. And I'm like, that only a visionary would be able to like give these very clear instructions of what he's envisioning and how he wants it to look, what it's gonna take to get there. Like that's very insane. I feel like artists these days are not as complete as he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like he was his own choreographer.
Yeah, yeah.
Wonderful. Like, I don't know. He's just one of a kind. We'll never have someone like him. I wish I could have seen him perform.
Yeah, I know. Do you think he would have been performing had he lived till this age? Or like if he were alive now?
I don't know. Maybe like not at the same scale, but probably still doing concerts. Just not, I don't think he'd like, I don't know. I mean, like, let's see, he'd probably be like almost 70 now. Like, I just can't imagine
Jeez.
you still can move the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But he would probably still be doing like little shows here and there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he loved to perform. At least that's what it seemed like. And if he didn't, then he was just so good at it that he made us believe that he loved it.
In the victory tour with his brothers, where he announces in the performance that this is their last tour, um, was that really their last tour? Like, I'm sorry, was that their last concert of that tour, or did he end it shortly? Did he cut it short?
Oh.
Because I know that when we're introduced to that concert,
Mm-hmm.
it just says final concert of the tour. So, but then he announces, right, that it's like the last concert of or like this is it.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, did he cut it short, or was he making it known to his dad? Because his dad was also like scheming on the side, like, oh, we're gonna take it global. So I wonder if it was just like him telling him like, this is it, like my favor here is done.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing any more.
Mm-hmm.
Or he just like decided to end it short.
I think that that was I think that was the last concert of that tour.
Mm-hmm.
And they were gonna go like on another tour, like that's what they had plans to
Mm-hmm.
do. But then he took that moment to say, you know, thank you, like this wraps up the tour, and this is the last time that we're performing together, as a message to his father and
Mm-hmm.
to like his siblings. But I guess it was mostly to the father because he's the one that was most upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, he's not gonna come up on stage and hit me with the belt, so let me do it now. So that was definitely like he was strategic about that. But honestly, I loved it. It was a little slap in the face. I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
like
Hit
come in
me?
here. Yeah. When he did that, we were in the theater. I was like, oh my God. Yeah, that was such a wonderful movie. And there's gonna be another one, a sequel. So
Really?
yeah, because you know it doesn't when it ends, he's still like pretty young. There's still more of his life and career that goes on that we didn't get to see.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a second part.
Oh, I was curious about that because when I went to go see that movie, I watched it with my brother, and then it's at the end it says to be continued, right? That's
Hmm.
how it wraps up. So he was like, "Oh, is there going to be a sequel?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't know. I think they said to be continued because his stardom continues beyond this point." But
Hmm.
the reason that I bring this up is because if they were to continue it, wouldn't they have to also factor in like all the negative attention that came up in the media about him, like in his later years, do you think?
Well, I think that there was a lot of talk about that too, about like how they didn't really address that in the movie. They kind of just like
Mm-hmm.
pretended it didn't happen. Um, so I don't know if that I don't know like on the timeline like exactly when that happened. Maybe it'll be like something that comes up in the next movie. But
Mm-hmm.
there's still a lot missing. Like that, there's a lot that we didn't see. Like basically what we saw was just like the beginning of him as like a solo artist.
Yeah.
And there's
Mm-hmm.
still so much more after that.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see a sequel. Like I really would love to see how they navigate all the negative controversy or like all the controversy that surrounded his life later on. Because that last scene that we see is from the 90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from the, yeah, so there's still like so much more after that, like the early 2000s. His vitiligo, how like his vitiligo
Mm-hmm.
continued. Like I would love to see that transition. Like I would love to
Mm-hmm.
see what he was thinking, going through, how he was going to, how he decided to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that would be interesting. His children, right? Like
Yeah.
when he has kids, I don't know if he's ever married. Does he ever get married?
Well, he was married to Elvis Presley's wife, wife, Elvis
His
Presley's
daughter.
daughter, Lisa Marie Presley. And then the people that he had children with, I don't think that they were ever married or that he was ever married with them. They think they were surrogates.
Oh,
So there's a lot that like, yeah, that's why he
yeah.
was, you know, people loved putting the attention on him, like with his skin condition, with his like plastic
Hmm.
surgery, with his choice to have children by surrogate, like all these things that had him always like um under like harsh light, or not harsh light, but people always were like so nosy and curious, like
Under a microscope, yeah.
yeah. And we didn't even get to see that in the movie, so there has to be more. Not that like I want to see that specifically, but like there are a lot of things of like he was in the media a lot for a lot of things, and that we need to
Hmm.
see things like that. And then also all the other music that he created later in his life. And like the music videos, like but I like that point that you brought up about like the parallels between the both fathers, like Selena's father and Michael Jackson's father. Um, yeah, like and I think that's like a trend that we see. Not to like ship that way, but like sometimes parents do want you to like do what they couldn't do. And
Hmm.
I hear that all the time, like, oh, like I want to have kids because I want to give them a better life than what I had. It's like it's your life. You did that already. You've lived that part. Like but that's neither here nor there. That's a that's another topic of conversation. But yeah, like sometimes like parents can be detrimental to like I suppose um because I did happen to see a lot of memes that were like a little not I thought they were bad taste in my opinion, but they were like it was like a guy like taking out the belt and
Mm.
he's like, now that I saw how successful Michael became, or how he became successful, he's like, I'm gonna pull the belt out and hit my kids. And I was like, that's what you think? That's what it takes? So you're gonna abuse your child in order for them to be successful?
Something.
Right. So
Mm-mm.
like that's not the way. Like if that's what it takes, I don't want it.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think that's what it took. I think that he was naturally talented, and
Mm-hmm.
the father was just so obsessed. He was like, I can't, he's like, I already failed once with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't let it happen again. So he was trying to like control him and he controlled him but with fear.
With fear, yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wanted to continue getting his little paycheck at Michael's expense under his control. I don't know. I just hate these kinds of people because you can tell like Selena's dad, for example, Michael's dad, when you see them when they give interviews, they're not charismatic people.
That's why they couldn't make it.
Right. Like think about that. You're not charismatic. You don't have the star power. Sit down, Lavender, and like let your children be children. I understand like you want to nurture that talent, but you were trying to beat it out of every single one of your kids. Michael just happened to be the one who had the grit, the charisma, the cuteness, the voice, the moves, right? And I don't know, like, yeah, like just like fail. Like, this is why they tell you live your life
Mm-hmm.
because you don't wanna arrive at a point or to a point where like you didn't live your life and now you're upset with half the world because of your failures. And you want to beat it out of of your kids who depend on you, who look up to you, so that you can live your life through them.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh,
Exactly.
that's really infuriating.
That's why I don't know if I'm gonna have kids, but I'm making it my mission to do everything so that by the time
Yes.
if like I ever do, I'm never like, I wish I would have done that. I would have been like, no, I remember when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to have to. I don't think I would be jealous, but like I don't know. I guess that's just the way it works. Um, but yeah, like sometimes like people don't do all those things. I'm putting myself first. And then when I reach that point where like I'm like, okay, maybe I could think about somebody else besides myself, then I'll have a kid. But like I'll take care of myself for now. And that's what Abraham and Joseph should have done.
Honestly, because then they're over here throwing it in everybody's face, like, oh, this family wouldn't have that if it weren't for me.
Yeah,
I
right.
did that. I did that. Like, no, bitch, you did not. Yes, you, I'm sorry.
No, no, it's fine. I love it.
You did not.
hmm Even like,
You,
oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say like in Selena when she wears that little bedazzled bra and the dad's like, take it off. Like he's like he's upset that like the men are looking at her and I was like, "W- okay, now you realize she's suddenly a woman and she's your daughter. Yeah, okay, okay, like you don't want her to be sexualized, but like she's a performer. What is the difference now, right? Like before you were exploiting her as a child and now you don't want people to look at her in a certain way. Like I thought your main concern was the money. Like you should be
Control.
right, yeah. Now he was just upset that he wasn't controlling her wardrobe anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love that
Oh.
scene though when he's like, "What, Marcella? What is she wearing?" And then the mom's like, "I think she looks cute." Yeah. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't see Jennifer as anything else, but still, because she's just such a great job.
Mm-hmm. That's how she got really famous, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I also watched The Devil Wears Prada 2. Did you watch that
Oh,
one?
yeah, no, I didn't, but tell me about it.
It was really good. It was kind of long. I mean,
Really?
I enjoyed it, but I was like, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, a movie doesn't have to be that long. But maybe that's the old lady in me.
Was it
Um,
longer than Michael's movie?
no, I think it was about the same, but like, with the music and everything with Michael didn't feel so long. Yeah, it didn't feel as long. I just feel like the plot was so like extended with
Ah.
The Devil Wears Prada 2 that I was like, all right, wrap it up. Like I get it. But it was cool. One thing that I will say that I didn't love is that um you watched the first one, right?
Yes.
You know how she has that whole like situation with the boyfriend where he's jealous of her success in her
Mm-hmm.
career and he's mad that he's just like a cook at a not that there's anything wrong with that because a job is a job, but he's jealous that she's doing better in life than him and that's why he kind of wants her to quit that job. So anyway,
Boo.
right. Um
Yes.
and so in this movie there's no man like that, but there's still a man. Like she's single. And then somehow into like in the whole plot, she meets a man, and then she's like, oh, like it just, I don't know, it feels like they wrote the story and it was good, and then they're like, but wait, we have to put a love interest in here for her.
Oh.
And so then he comes in, they meet, they go on like a few dates, they love each other, but I think he's out of her league. Like the only thing is that like he's successful in his career, but he's not that handsome. At least the other guy in the first movie was handsome. And he's not terrible, but he's just not up to par to Andy, I think. And I don't know. So yeah, I don't think he's like on her level. And then they go on a few dates, then she gets caught up in the career again, right? Like she leaves. She's like doing a lot of work. She like you don't see him. And then he comes back in at the end and they're like happily ever after. And I'm like, you could have done without that. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it would have been more realistic if you had never included a man in your, because that's actually what six most successful women are doing it alone.
Yeah. Most of them are single.
Yeah. I mean, okay, not alone, single, I should say.
Single by
You could be
choice.
right, see you could but you can be single and not alone.
Exactly.
Like I'm not saying she can't have a fling here and there because of course she can, but like for her to have like that man that like it was just weird that like the man was waiting for her basically. And then she came back after she resolved all the things that she did with her job and like that big project she was working on. Then she comes back and he's like, "I'm here, babe." And it's like I just felt like
Like a
forced,
filler.
yeah, like a
Hmm.
filler. And I was like, ugh, whatever, the patriarchy. But it was good overall. I recommend it. Like it definitely like there's like a little what do you call it? When it like oh my gosh.
Plot
A
twist.
plot twist. Like it's all going, yeah, it's all going, and then you're like, what? So that's cool. And like there's a lot of fashion and Emily's there. Like it's just a really good movie. And she's still friends with one of her friends from the first movie, which I thought was cool. The black girl.
Oh,
She gets her
okay.
in the first movie, she gets her the purse.
Mm-hmm.
They're still friends in the second movie.
Good. One of the things that I had been reading about, or not reading about, but like seeing commentary about is that the movie re did a really good job of reflecting just kind of like the business today.
Oh, yes. It was very, very relevant. Like it was a lot about like content creation and uh even like the climate that we're in, like politically or socially.
Hmm.
Like I think Miranda makes a comment that is like not socially acceptable, and they're like, you can't say that anymore. And she's like, oh my God. Because you know how in the first movie she's very like she's kind of a bitch and she just says
Hmm.
whatever's on her mind. She's toned down a little bit. Because like of you know just people are more socially aware and I don't know if you remember that in the first movie she like when she arrives every day Miranda throws her coat on one of the assistants' desks.
Yeah.
She throws it on their desk and then they have to go run and pick it up and hang it up for her. She hangs up her that's sorry guys, that's a spoiler. She hangs up her own coat in the movie and people it's like a it's there's an emphasis on that because it's like
Mm.
before she used to just whip it around and have someone do like kind of like do like her chores for her and now that doesn't happen but they still get her the coffee and things like that. So overall Miranda is doing a lot of things that um she wasn't doing before, you know, things that she could have always handled on her own but she was using her like assistants as her little peasants I suppose.
Mhm.
And so I guess it's more it reflects kind of like modern day and how people are more um I don't know, conscious of that. But
Yeah.
but also like the different types of media that we consume because if you remember in the first movie it was about the magazine and there
Hmm.
really I mean there still is a magazine but they make it a point to mention that people don't read magazines anymore and so everything is mostly like on social media.
What was I mean, I don't care for you know, if you ruin like the ending for me, but what was the general like problem to solve? Or was it
So
just like
one
poor
of the
writing?
companies that they work with, like obviously it's a fashion magazine, right? And so one of the
Hmm.
companies that they work for is like a fashion company and they uh what were they doing? They were just using like unethical labor practices. They were doing unethical labor practices. And
Okay.
then that like someone like blows the whistle on that. And
Hmm.
since that what is it called again? The magazine company? Oh my God.
Vogue.
Well, it's supposed to like be
Oh.
emulating Vogue, but whatever it's called in the movie. Oh my goodness, why can't I remember? Well, anyway, whatever the magazine company is called, they get caught up in the mess of that because they
Hmm.
work with that company, and so they have to clear their name up. And Andy is a journalist, like that's her training, right? She's a
Yeah.
journalist. Because remember when she first gets the job, she wants to be a journalist, but she has to do something, so she starts working there. So Andy comes because such a good writer, and she helps like revamp and like create a new image for them in the media. And she does that by like writing. And then there's like another problem that arises later, and that's really like where the plot twist comes in. But that's how Andy gets called back to work for them.
So, okay, so this whole time I'm thinking Andy was still working for Miranda, just like higher position, but it turns
Mm-mm.
out she left. It
Yeah.
pursued her own interests, and then she's brought back to help them solve this larger problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm intrigued. I wonder what that plot twist is.
Yeah, you'll have to see. It's good. Oh my
I'll
God,
have to take my.
I Googled what is the name of the company from The Devil Wears Prada, and I don't even see it. Like it's not like it doesn't automatically pop up.
Maybe what is the name of the magazine?
Runway.
Runway.
Yes.
Isn't that a real magazine?
I don't
Mm.
know. Maybe. But yeah, you should watch it. It's a good one. I mean, I would go for the matinee because
Yeah.
I went for like I went later like in the evening, and I was like I don't know, I felt so long. I had had a long day that excuse me, I had had a long day, and so I was like I'm tired of it. I wasn't tired of it, I guess. I was just like I felt very long-winded.
Yeah. I love a good matinee. It's my favorite thing to do on a
Me
weekday, on a
too.
weekend.
Me too. When we watched, so I went to watch Michael Jackson with my siblings, and I was had picked the earliest. We went like at like 12 or 11. I was like,
Yeah.
perfect. Because
I love
it's
it.
the theaters are empty.
It's empty, it's cheaper, you have it like there's not a lot of like activity going on. I hate when people come into the movie theater late and
Mm-hmm.
they have their flashlights on trying to find their seat. And it's like, sit down. Just sit. Get here
Yeah.
early. Or where they're constantly like getting up and walking to the bathroom, trying to get themselves a drink, getting a snack. Like, damn, bitch, it's only 2 hours. Hold it in.
Yeah. I do not go to the bathroom during the movie.
No.
Okay, should we transition into the word of the day portion?
Yes, let's transition. Word of the
Okay.
day.
Yay, guys. Finally, we're back. So, pulling up my Webster's. All
Miss
right.
Miriam. Vocabulary Builder. It is a green cover book with blue and yellow. Teal, my bad. Not green.
ASMR.
Okay. I don't hear it.
It's probably
Flip
because
the
I have like
pages. Flip the pages, maybe. I don't hear it.
it's because I have this like special thing to like silence out like it only really
Externals.
captures it only captures like voice, I think. My beautiful voice. All right. So, same as always, I'm gonna say it and then you're gonna try to guess what it means and then we'll go
Yes,
from there.
ma'am.
All right. So the word is vociferous.
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 Does it start with a B or a
V as
V?
in Victor.
Okay.
I can tell you the root word. It comes from the
Yes.
Latin word voc, like VOC, and that means voice or speak. And that's what it means in Latin. VOC, voc or vos, I don't know really, but like, that's the Latin root word.
Okay. Vociferous. It sounds like a potent voice, like almost strong and like with a lot of character, like almost demanding, like vociferous, like you can't ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, vociferous. With authority? I don't know. What is what is it?
Like the word sounds like very strong, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're very close. Vociferous means making noisy or emphatic outcries. And
Oh.
I'll use it in a sentence. When the referee at these soccer games makes a questionable call, you hear vociferous protests from half the parents.
Oh, and yep. Okay. Outcry.
Like you're upset and
Mm-hmm.
you're very loud, very noisy.
Mm-hmm.
And it says a vociferous group shouts loudly and insistently, and they're usually not too happy about something. So we usually hear about vociferous critics, vociferous demands, vociferous opponents. So it's like when you're not happy. And
Yeah.
that's when you're being very vocal about something that you're unhappy about.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounds like it's just I don't know, I like that word. It reminds me of cruciferous.
Cruciferous. What does that
But
mean?
I don't know, but I've heard it. I think it means like crunchy.
Ah.
I think so, but I've heard that before.
I was thinking like sacrifice. Cruciferous.
Oh, like crucify. Okay, no, I
Yes.
was wrong. So cruciferous comes from cruciferous vegetables. The cruciferous vegetables are a family of nutrient-rich plants like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and cabbage.
Wow.
Because if you Google cruciferous like on its own, it just says cruciferous vegetables. I don't know if that's the only way that. Oh my God, you're right. Cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, kale, and cabbage are named for their four-petaled flowers that resemble a crucifix. Derived from the Latin crucifere, meaning cross-bearing. So you were right. And I'm like, I think it means crunchy. But the reason why I thought crunchy is because I knew someone was like cruciferous vegetables and they said cauliflower. And I was like, I know cauliflower is crunchy, like when you bite into it, right? So I thought
We're
it
both
meant
right.
right. Duh.
They're
I knew
crunchy.
I, I knew it was related to vegetables. But there we go. We kind of got a two in one there. We got vociferous and cruciferous.
Cruciferous.
Um, Yeah, all right. Well, that is it for today. We're gonna wrap it up, but we hope you enjoyed our episode today. We had fun recording this, and this hopefully is the first time that you're seeing us along with hearing us simultaneously.
Yes, and our next recording is actually going to take place live because I will be back in Chicago for a week and we are going to use that time to record in person. And yeah, you'll see us a little bit more you're gonna see the dolls, their hair and makeup done, sitting
Yeah.
together.
We'll be in full glam
Yeah.
and yeah, more to come on that, but it's we have something in the works that hopefully it should be a little bit more extravagant than today.
Yeah, and please send over your suggestions for themes, topics, questions that you'd want to hear because we're just gonna have a whole production, so why not take advantage of it?
Yeah, give us some hot takes that you'd want us to talk about.
Ooh, hot takes.
Maybe not the
Love.
best thing for me, but I love it.
It's okay. You know what? We gotta do it.
Exactly. When people are like, who are we to judge?
Parenting. Alrighty, well, have a great rest of your week, girl, and I'll see you next week,
Oh my
or
God,
maybe in
yes.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I don't
Like
know.
a week and a half.
God damn.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
like dying to go back. Anyway, are you guys having nice weather?
Right now it's raining, but it has been pretty pleasant. Like it's been like 60s. Why, how is it over there?
About the same. It gets windy at night. Like when the sun goes away, like it gets very windy
Mm-hmm.
and cold. It's overcast. But yeah, hopefully you guys have better weather than we do.
Maybe you'll bring the warm weather when you come.
I hope so, girl. I hope so, because I'm trying to be by the lake and
Ooh.
splash in the water.
If not, you're gonna have to come back in like July.
I have to. I can't go too long without like not visiting.
Exactly. And then we can have another little picnic. Oh my God, that was so
Another
fun.
picnic. Oh, that was really fun. I'm excited.
Oh, we'll talk about that next time, guys.
Yes.
I had
Yes.
to ask for a lighter.
Oh yeah, she did.
It was so much fun.
It was fun. And you know what? All we did was rot. We just rotted by the lake.
And
It was
touch
so fun.
grass.
And touched grass and relaxed and gossiped. Not gossip, which is, kiki.
Yeah, Kiki.
Um,
Yep. Liz says that a lot.
Kiki.
Yeah.
I love that word. Kiki.
All right, guys. See you next time. And
Bye.
it'll be a lot of fun next time.
Yes, it will. Like, we're always fun, but it'll be even more fun.
Exactly. All right, bye,
All right,
girl.
bye. Bye, bye.